All right, over here. Is this working? Hopefully the audio is on. I'm not positive. Somebody let me know. Is the audio on? Check, check, check. I think so. It doesn't give me like any sort of a... Oh, yeah, there. Okay, good, good, good. Yeah, I got you loud and clear. Awesome, thank you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, today almost didn't happen. So I am... just scrambling. About 2:30, so about a half hour ago, I started up OBS, just getting ready and making sure all the stuff was working. And suddenly none of the browser sources worked. So like the chat overlay and like the stream count up in the corner up there, and I mean everything that is a browser source. So like lots of things that I do, none of them were there. And I'm like, what the heck? And it turns out that Debian, I didn't update. Oh, it was probably yesterday. I didn't update trying to get Resolve or DaVinci Resolve installed, and it just never liked my GPU stuff. So I'm like, I made sure I had the latest updates of my NVIDIA drivers. And anyway, I didn't realize that it had updated OBS using the Debian repositories instead of the custom one that I had put in. And the problem is the Debian version, like that's in the Debian repositories of OBS, does not have browser source as one of the options. And it's ridiculous because browser source is so widely used for so many things. I just don't understand how. It's something about the Chrome licensing they don't like or whatever. So I don't know. Let me rearrange some screens here so I can see everybody, including myself. Yeah, I think I'm all good. I mean, it's not even no, and so the AMD thing, it doesn't. So DaVinci Resolve doesn't work any better with AMD. In fact, there's more issues with AMD and DaVinci Resolve. So that was a moot point. I just erased it. I'm still using Shotcut. It works fine. I've climbed the learning curve, the steep learning curve enough that I'm fairly efficient with it. I just don't think it's an excellent program because things like moving around layers and resizing and cropping and stuff is very cumbersome to like install filters on tracks, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. So I was going to try to use DaVinci Resolve. The problem with DaVinci Resolve in Linux, even if you get the studio version. So, I mean, this isn't just like a free versus paid thing. Even the studio version of DaVinci Resolve under Linux cannot import or export AAC audio, or I think the studio version can import H.264 video, but not the AAC audio that's always connected with it. So it's kind of pointless. But I was just gonna like have my process be different. I was gonna have OBS record in like a format with like PCM audio and a video format that it would import directly, and I was just gonna try to do all that to get the advantage of DaVinci Resolve. But in the end, it wouldn't even load right because of it didn't like my GPU driver, even though my GPU is an NVIDIA 3090 and it's working great. Yeah, it's just so very, very frustrating. And yeah, so I just went back to Shotcut. And I see, yeah, samples and test. Shotcut is kind of a pain in the butt. Once you get used to it, I mean, it's functional. It still takes longer than I would like. My main process, I guess I could record a video of myself recording a video. Sounds very inception of me, but basically I go through, and most of my editing is just I cut out pieces. I try really hard to do most everything in one take, and so I'll just hit S to split the track, and then split it again, highlight that chunk, and then press the X key to ripple delete that. Unfortunately, then the timer goes all the way to the right and I have to move it back, which is a pain in the butt. But anyway, that's pretty much my process. But when you have multiple tracks and you're trying to like crop and move and resize, you have to add filters, and it matters which order the filter goes in. And it's just not not clear. And text is even worse. Text is like a filter on a video track, so it's not separate and you can't like move it around. You have to split and then have the, yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's the best I've found in Linux so far. So it's still what I use. And like I said, I tried to go to DaVinci Resolve yesterday and caused all kinds of problems. But then, yeah, I didn't realize it had done that. So the deal with OBS, this is not an NVIDIA thing. This is a Debian thing. Like I said, there's no browser source in the Debian repository version of OBS. Like they just don't compile that option. And I tried the Flatpak, they distribute as a Flatpak, but the Flatpak just crashed constantly for me. If you were at one of my early live streams after I switched to Linux, it crashed. Like it wouldn't, I don't know what was going wrong with it, but the Flatpak of OBS does not work for me in Debian. So what I do is I get the most recent version of the Ubuntu deb file for Debian, for Ubuntu, and then I use it on Debian. But Debian does not support ZST compression inside the deb file. So I have to extract the deb file. I have to recompress like the data and the control files using XZ compression, recompress that, repack the deb file into a brand new deb file with a different compression scheme, and then install it. So, I did all that. I've done that before, and it's about 5 minutes to 3, and it would not start because it requires libpython 3.10, and Debian now no longer has libpython 3.10. It has libpython 3.11, which should be fine, but the Ubuntu package that I repackaged said, nope, I won't work because, so I had to force the install, and then I had to go into my user lib folder and copy libpython 3.11.so.0.1 or whatever to libpython 3.10 and just like fool OBS into thinking it was there, which worked. And so that's where we are. But that's why I had like 1 minute left and I had to get some water. So now we are all caught up. Hello, Santiago. Scott, sorry if you just went Charlie Brown teacher. Yeah, it's been quite the half an hour, but we're here and we have browser sources and everything is working. And, I was almost late too, Glocktor. So, in fact, I was late. I was a little bit late because I didn't think anybody would want to have a live stream without me fully caffeinated with coffee, and I got water. Oh, that's good coffee too. Good coffee. And I have bubbly water, not bubbly water. So we're here. Welcome to the live stream. I'm not sure how many people are here, but I think everything is working now. Hopefully you can see all the comments there on the right. I think I can pop something up. Let's see. Yeah, you're about Flatpak files in Linux Plus. It's true. Yeah, but Moose, I was talking about Flatpak files. And the thing is, the OBS Flatpak installs in my Debian system just fine, and it launches fine, and everything appears to be working. But then during the live stream, it just started hanging. Like the video started hanging. It was just really, really bad. And I don't understand exactly what was going on. So, yeah. So I don't know. So I have to do this whole dance now with the deb file. And now I'm a little bit worried though, because since it uses a different version of libpython, I kind of did a hack, if you will. Hack is a strong term. I mean, I just made a copy of libpython 3.11 to a file named libpython 3.10, and it's working because it's fine. But I mean, it's not clean. It is what it is. It's fine as long as it doesn't keep updating. I didn't want it to update with the repository package. That was disturbing. Because of my status. Oh, my status where? I'm curious. My status on YouTube, does it show that I'm live streaming? I don't know. I'm curious. Would that be looking at the install path? No, so libpython 3.10 is a dependency of OBS Studio, the version that I'm using for the latest version of Ubuntu, and I'm using it on Debian. But the problem is it requires libpython 3.10, but that is not available for a Debian Bookworm because Debian Bookworm is up to libpython 3.11. And OBS is like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't work. So anyway, Python does have issues with compatibility. Yeah, in fact, I was having a conversation with somebody this past week about Python compatibility, and they're like, oh, you mean like major revisions? I'm like, no, I mean like very minor from one to another. Sometimes things just won't work. And this is the same sort of thing. Why doesn't the libpython 3.11 provide libpython 3.10 for programs? Or why isn't the program just say libpython 3.10 or later? No, it says 3.10.0 or later versions of 3.10. It's such a crazy. Oh, Resident Alien. Hello, Glocktor, Resident Alien. Resident Alien is pretty awesome in that also has a tux droid coming. Did you get it yet? Did you get the tux droid? Because you were supposed to have it by now, I think. And yes, app images are nice. There's no app image of OBS, but you know what? I was actually thinking in the 20 minutes of chaos before this stream started, I was thinking, I wonder how difficult it is to make app images. I've never done it, but I'm curious if I can make my own app image of OBS so it would just always run. And I might look into that and see, because who knows. Oh, let's see. Glockport, do not have the tux droid yet. Oh, post office lied. That is terrible. My tux droid still says it's in the Netherlands. Yeah. It said it's, I don't know. It doesn't say much, to be quite honest. It just says that it's like ready to be shipped to the destination country or something. I don't know. I'm guessing it's on a boat somewhere. Just can't wait to get here. And if you haven't been watching, yeah, the tux droid, I think I played it in last week's live stream, the video about it. I'm sure I did. And yeah, I'm still waiting. Glocktor here also has one, although he's been doing a lot more work in getting like the software working because it requires 32-bit stuff. Thankfully, he's shared some of the work via GitHub, so I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, nobody has a tux droid yet. We're still waiting, but they're on the way, and we're very excited. I can stream. I'm streaming. We do have a weekend assignment this week. I guess, should we do that? It should go pretty easily. Oh, it ships by air. I did get that. Wait, I'm on the tux droid main page? Well, let's look at that. Let's see what we can see. Let's look together. Come down here. Tux droid. Ooh, got to spell it right. Tuxdroids.com, I think. Is that what it is, or is it .org? Nope, .com. Let's look for me. It's true. Wow, that is actually not just am I there, but it's my big giant head there. That is funny. Oh man, yeah, that's great. That is great. All right, so yeah, my main package, I can't load it because it'll show my home address, and that's poor security practice on my part, so I won't actually show the thing. But let me look off screen to see if I have any good updates on my package. Let's see. My package. It says, yeah, it just says your parcel is on its way. Time of delivery will be March 18th to the 21st. I have serious doubts. Hold down here. I have serious doubts because it still says that it is shipment received. Shipment is ready for transport to the country of destination. That's like the last update on March 13th that I have. It's very depressing. Anyway, it'll get here eventually. It'll be so exciting. And then, assuming it works, we've arranged some giveaways. So that should be fun too. I've lost my page. Oh, there we go. Nope. There we go. All right. While we're here, you want to do let's do the weekend assignment while we're here. Oh, Mason, sorry. Yeah. Does this pop up on the screen? Can I pop up? Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think y'all change pretty soon, right? Next week. So next week, oh yeah, so if it's like Sunday, like at 2 a.m, so your time should match ours. And then I have no idea what's going to happen here in the U.S. After if we're going to switch back or if it's going to be like this forever. Nobody knows. Everything is weird. Like I said last week, time isn't real. But anyway, since we're here, let's do the weekend assignment. I will bring that up. Let's see, weekend assignment. Oh, I could just load it on this is Ubuntu Mate that I have here. And I'm using Ubuntu to do the weekend assignment just because they use swap files. So, you can see it in use and you can tweak what's there. It's always nice to have something to start from. So, I don't have a way to look at comments up here. So let me drag this over here a little bit. All right. Okay. All right. Come on. Double click. Snar.co. Weekend assignment 21. All right. So, objective is to make a swap file. And yeah, if you didn't get the weekend assignment is snar.co/RA21. But the swap is a hard drive space that can be used as RAM. If everybody should be familiar with swap, like what it is. It's like a page file in Windows. The deal is, not too long ago, and I say not too long ago, it's probably been like 5 years or longer. I'm getting old. Ubuntu specifically, and I think other distros as well, switched from the notion of using an entire hard drive partition as swap, because you used to have to partition part of your hard drive as swap. And now they just make a swap file. I think it used to be less efficient to do it as a file, and maybe it is still less efficient. I don't know, but the trade-off is worth it apparently, because that's where most people are going now. Instead of having a partition, which is difficult to change, it's just a file, and like a page file in Windows. So anyway, basically it's just make a page file, and let's look and see what we have. Where is my? No, that's not what I was looking for. I've made some notes at some point. I'll just try to stumble through it. How's that? Yeah, lest anybody think that I am a professional and I just know all these things. I'll try to stumble through it. If we get stuck, we can Google it together. But basically, we can say free-h. -h is for human readable. And, oh, Lewis, welcome. I didn't think you'd be here. Live commenting from vacation. Very nice. So yeah, okay. Somebody asked about you earlier, Lewis, and I didn't get a chance to reply. We had some chaos before the live stream, and I was a couple minutes late. But anyway, free -h, the H just means human readable mode, and you'll see, let me see if I can stretch this without, there we go. We have, this virtual machine has 2 gigabytes of RAM, like actual physical RAM in the virtual machine. And then swap space is 2.6 gigabytes, which is an odd number. I don't know where that 2.6 came from. But anyway, a 2.6 gigabyte swap file. And to see where that's loaded, we can let's look at the etc. fs tab file, because it's mounted just like a file system, even though it's not technically a file system. So the name of the swap file that it uses is just a file on the root directory called swap file. And just like this, it says like, where is it mounted? Like what device? There's no device. It's a file. The type is swap. Options. I don't know what SW stands for. Swap maybe. And then yeah, the dump and pass or whatever is over there. Anyway, so that's where it lives, which means we can look. Let's do an ls-l of the root directory. So just /. And if we look, we can see there it is. There's that swap file. If we do ls-lh, again, that h just makes it more human readable. We can look at that partition and see that sure enough, well, it rounded it to 2.7 here, but it's just a file on the system, read and writable only by root. That's kind of important. And there's a couple things that we could do. Now, we could turn the swap off and create a different size swap file. But the nice thing is with swap files, we could just add another swap file. And we would just have 2 swap files running on the system. Now you can see the swap files in action. We can look at that. We looked at the free command. We could also do swap on dash, I think show, or dash show will tell us. Yeah, I think if we do it without anything, just swap on, I think it'll tell us to. Yeah, sure enough. But what this does, it shows us the exact same thing. The name of the file is, /swap file. It's just in the root directory, and it tells you what type of swap it is. So rather than a partition, this is just a file. Again, the size 2.6, how much of it is used, and then priority. Basically, we're going to, I think we should, rather than mess with the one that's there, let's say we wanted more swap, we can just create another file. There's a couple ways to create a file. We could use dd. But the quickest and arguably the best way to do it is to use fallocate if it's on your system. And I'm sure it's on the system here, but sudo fallocate. And then, oh man, this is the part where Sean just tries to stumble along from memory. I think it's -L for some reason. And let's make this a 4 GB partition. Actually, I don't know how much room we have here. First of all, I'm going to do df -h to see disk free and human readable again. And we have on our root directory here, we have 12 gigabytes available. So, okay. I'm going to do sudo, we have to be root to make this, fallocate, I think it's -L. Let's make it 3 gigabytes. So 3 capital G, and then the name of the file, and we're going to call it swap file the number 2. So swap file 2. Let's see if that does it. Put in my password. Fingers crossed. Yeah, it looks like it did it. Okay, so we created that file. It's that quick. Now, we could do it using dd and just use dev0 and then create the file. Like the OF equals would be the file, swap file 2. But we would have to do like block size equals like 1M and then count equals whatever 1024 times 3 is, which would be 3068, so 3068. And then it would just write zeros to that file, and that would be fine. But fallocate is much quicker. And so there we have that. Now, remember I said it has to have this exact owner stuff. It has to be owned by root, which it is because we created it with sudo. So it's owned by root, but we do need to do sudo chmod. There's a couple ways we could do this. And if you're unfamiliar with using chmod for permissions, there's in the Linux Essentials course, I think there's a pretty good video on it. But I'm just going to do 600 because that's going to give us, it should give us read write in the owners field, and then nothing else in group and other. So swap file 2 ls -lh there. All right, so yeah, we've done that. Now it's owned by root, and it just has read write access to root only. So, oh, got an email. Sorry, I didn't mute that. But to activate it, all you have to do is say sudo swap on. Oh no, I was wrong. We need to create it. Right now, we just created an empty file. Whether we did it with fallocate or if we did it with dd, it's just an empty file or a file with 0, full of zeros, or null characters, because dev0 isn't really just zeros. But that's another whole story. What we need to do is sudo mk swap, which just formats it in a format that is usable as swap space. And the file is swap file 2. So press enter, and boom, it created it. It's that fast, but it does have to be formatted as a swap file before we can actually use it. And then sudo swap on to start using the swap file. And here we could do via UUID, but because it's a file, it's always going to be in the same location. So / swap file 2, and this should give us, it should be on now. So if we type swap on -- show, we should now see 2 swap files adding to RAM. Let's see. Sure enough, we have swap file, which is 2.6, and then swap file 2, which is 3 gigabytes, and none are used. But the cool thing is now, if we do free -H. Remember we did that at the very beginning to show how much system RAM and swap is used? Well, now if we do free -H, we're going to see we still have only, 2 gigs or 1.9 gigs of physical RAM in the virtual machine. However, now we have 5.6 gigabytes of swap because we have that initial 2.6 and we added 3. 2.6 plus 3 is 5.6. I did that in my head. So anyway, that's how much swap we have. But, if we reboot, it's going to disappear, right? It's not going to automatically load that. We would have to run swap on every time. The file's going to stay there. It's going to stay formatted. We don't have to do make swap again. But if we wanted to automatically use that swap space, we would have to add an entry to the fstab file. So we can do that. Sudo vi etc fstab. And then this is the exact reason I decided to use an Ubuntu machine to demonstrate this, because we have something to go from. And I did remember all the fallocate stuff. I'm proud of myself. Anyway, we'll format it just like the one that's here, but with our new information. So we'll say /swap file2 none swap sw. Don't even remember what that means. Probably swap 0 0. And now, let's actually reboot it. Let's sit here and reboot it. So sudo reboot. And now, unless I did something really, really wrong, when it reboots, it should automatically turn both swap files on, or, it should use both swap files because they're both listed in fstab. And hopefully it restarted. Oh, it looks like it. Oh yeah, look, it started pretty quick even. That was nice. It's all that swap space. Not really. Swap space is really slow. It's not a great way to, it's not something you want to utilize often. You want to have it there to avoid crashes, but it's not something that will make your system more performant at all. Let's see if we have free-h 5.6. Oh yeah, swap on. Look at that. They both loaded automatically and no tricks up my sleeve. Uptime is 0 minutes. So it just restarted and automatically put that back in place. And that's all she wrote. We're done. Now let me go back to my face cam and then I'll look at the comments, because I'm sure people asked me stuff that I should have answered along the way, but I didn't. All right, now I gotta move stuff again. I'm not a professional streamer here, so I gotta move stuff around. All right. Hopefully that made sense for everybody. Oh boy, I missed a lot of comments. Listener here now, live commenting. Oh, hey, Lewis. Oh, swap on, Lewis. Yeah. I prefer swap partition. Oh, this is interesting. I prefer swap partition to make it larger than I think I'll ever need. That's interesting. I'm curious, samples and test, what the rationale for wanting a partition is. Is it just so that you don't take up room on your file system, or is the performance difference significant still? Or is it just old habits die hard kind of thing? I'm curious. Is a swap file, let's see, is a swap file more important for machines with hardly any memory? If you have 32 gigs, for example, you have a swap file. It's funny, right before that, Lewis said, 32 gigs of RAM, no need for a swap file. That's usually the case. However, I generally always, and I didn't do this for a long time. If I had a system with, depending on the vintage, I mean, a long time ago or just, a little while ago, if I had a system with a significant amount of RAM, like such that I would never expect to need any swap space, I would just not have a swap partition or a swap file at all, not wanting the performance hit if it puts stuff and pages it into memory. So I would purposefully not. However, for my day job, I running systems with like 512 gigabytes of RAM, and one of the systems in the cluster has like a terabyte of RAM. And you would think, oh, that's more than you would ever need. However, there are times when it's filled up so much that it still will dump some stuff into a swap file if it's there. So I still have a swap file on my servers, but and I don't know this offhand. I can fudge my way through fallocate, but I can't tell you the exact how to adjust swappiness. But I will adjust swappiness down, and swappiness is how aggressive the kernel is at freeing up RAM by putting stuff into swap. I will turn swappiness way down so that it very rarely touches that swap space, but I still want it there just in case one of the huge processes that I'm running fills up the RAM. I don't want the server to crash. I'd rather it slow down for a bit and then catch back up. So I do use a swap file, but if you have a system with a lot of RAM, I recommend Googling swappiness and turn the swappiness way down so it doesn't use it unless it's absolutely necessary. And that's my that's my recommendation there. When you have low RAM, you can deal with swap more. Yes, Lewis. Oh, now this is an interesting. So this is an interesting thing that I hadn't thought of. If you're paying for network traffic and your cloud provider counts disk activity across the internal network, you might get charged more, like disk writes versus RAM usage. So that is something to consider. You could accidentally give yourself a bigger bill for not great performance, for a safety net that you might not really need. So that is something to consider, and I hadn't thought of that. So I appreciate that, Lewis. Let's see. Oh, I will try to check Discord. Oh, yeah, this is worth. How do I do this? Oh dear, what have I done? So Lewis, who is with us here, which I appreciate, sent us a greeting, and I appreciate the greeting, but also I'm a little bit jealous. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit jealous, but no, I hope you're having a great time. Not jealous. I'm happy for you, and that's legit. I'm super stoked that you're on vacation and you still joined us. So yeah, awesome. Close that back here. So anyway, where was I? Knit 6. I haven't in a long time. But we probably have to fist fight now about it because it should be teleknit, not a knit. Come on, teleknit is the way to go now. But really, it's all symlinks, and that's too nerdy of a conversation even for me. Now I'm sure there's already a bunch of answers here, but I'll give my unlooked ahead answer. Mason, which distro do you guys recommend I start with? I think the standard answer for most people these days is either Linux Mint. A lot of people really like Linux Mint for its usability, or Ubuntu. But there's going to be people here who are probably going to. I'm guessing what's below. I'm purposefully not looking at the comments. I'm guessing people are going to recommend Fedora. I know, like, Lewis is a big Fedora fan, which is cool. It's just something that I'm not used to. I'm more used to Debian-based distributions. But, yeah, it's, you don't want to start with Arch Linux. You don't want, I think Arch Linux is the modern-day Gentoo. It's a lot of work to get things going. And don't listen to, Scott probably said Alpine. Don't listen to Scott as well. Scott likes to use Alpine Linux, which is awesome. Oh, no, Scott... He did say MX Linux. Okay. Ubuntu or Rocky Linux. Oh, yeah. Rocky Linux is the same as Red Hat Enterprise Linux now, so that's cool. Caesar, I did sleep pretty well last night. Yes, I'm happy to say. That's nice. I haven't had insomnia it's been days. Bedj, yes. And you were already answered by somebody else. Absolutely. Yeah. Page files in Windows is the idea. Is the lowest you can get on swappiness 10? I didn't realize that. I believe it. Again, I didn't remember those things off the top of my head. But yeah, and swappiness, you want it low unless you expect to need it, in which case you shouldn't set it high anyway. You should just get more RAM. Using swap space for RAM is miserable. I think it's only good as a safety net to avoid crashes, but yeah. Old habits. Yeah. Samples and tests, old habits using the partition for swap space. I get that. I do a lot of things from habit too, like VI. Try to change swappiness, and I found that an option. Oh, let me put this on the screen. Option not available by default in the current kernel. That's weird. It's normally something you have to set in like sysctl.conf. You can set it like in real time by changing something in the, it's either in the /proc or /sys virtual, or is it a virtual? Yeah, virtual file system. But I haven't done it in a while. I have to admit, I haven't done it in quite some time. Let's see, Northern Chip. Let's see, what do we have? I ran fallocate-l 1 gig swap file. I got sudo fallocate-l 1 gig swap file. I got 1 gig command not found. And oh, that's an L. Oh, no, 1G. That's weird. I don't know why that would have happened. So sudo fallocate. If fallocate was there, which it should have been on Ubuntu, and it was -L, wasn't it? I swear it was. Let's see. Sudo fallocate-L 1G, capital G, test. I'm testing off screen, I'm sorry. Yeah, that did it for me. And fallocate, invalid option. Huh. I don't know. Northern Chimp, I'm befuddled. Maybe somebody else has answered below. That should do it. I mean, I literally just typed that exact thing. I even used 1 capital G, and it worked. And it's -lowercase-l. That's the stuff. Huh. I don't know. I'll try it on Debian really quick too. And somebody's probably already answered this, but I'm still curious now. Do I have fallocate? No, I probably don't have it on Debian. Apt cache search fallocate. Oh, no, it is. I just have to use sudo. Okay, -L1G test. All right, it's working on me in vanilla Debian too. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't work. That's really, really strange. Oh, Mason. Oh, these are old. See, I'm so behind on comments. Mason, yeah, it's very much GUI now. So everything you saw me do was all on. Everything I'm doing now is on Linux. This is all Linux. Even OBS is running on Linux. So this is all Linux. Linux all the way down. Bash scripting or Ansible? Put your hands together. No, both are awesome. I think that Bash scripting is really useful because it helps you save time in a pinch, but Ansible helps you save time over the long run, especially administering multiple servers. So anyway, both, but Bash scripting is, I don't want to say more useful. I think I would start with Bash scripting though, so you get used to the command line, because it's important to understand what you're doing before you automate it. And Ansible is a lot of automating things. So yeah, I'm a solid Bash scripting before you start doing Ansible, just so you know what's going on, because you shouldn't automate anything you wouldn't be able to do by hand. That needs to be a t-shirt. Connect your phone, text computer. Okay. I missed some of the stuff. Okay. Proxmox. Okay. I'll find a way to add more swap. So I don't know why it caps it at 8 gigabytes. So here's the thing about swap too. Swap can be frustrating to, like, oh no, I don't have enough RAM. If you are using swap space on your system because your RAM is full, you shouldn't increase the swap. You should get more RAM. A lot of times though, systems, and Proxmox is probably like this. I know Proxmox is just using Debian under the hood. It will put stuff into swap and free up your RAM. So when you do the free command, in fact, this is kind of significant, Danny. So let's go back over here. Let me get rid of your comment just so everybody can see. All right. So when you look at the free -h command, and you see So the memory usage and free should be on, I'm down here. Sorry. Free should be on Proxmox too, on the Proxmox command line. This is your total amount of system RAM, like actual RAM chips. This is how much is used. This is how much is free. But this might show that it's used a lot and that there's very little free. However, the buffers and cache over here, this means that it stored stuff there, but it's freely available the moment you need it, if that makes sense. And so basically it means that and maybe that's what this last column is. I don't remember this being here. Available is like how much is available to use. Let's see if that's seems about right. Let's see. Free is 6.6 or 0.66 plus 0.73 is going to be about that. Yeah, that's probably what they have here is the buffers and cache are stuff that they kind of left programs or, whatever was in RAM. They left it there. They just didn't erase it. The kernel's like, it's there in case we need it again, but it's not currently being used. And so the moment you need that RAM, it's available. A lot of times the system will also take stuff that was just sitting in RAM and it'll bump it down to swap and just let it sit there. But as long as you have available RAM on your system, like this buffers and cache combined with the free is still a significant number, don't worry if it shows that your swap has some stuff stored in it. The thing to really watch is how much free RAM you have on your system, and that includes the buffers and cache. Buffers and cache is still available to you. It's just your system being really efficient at not erasing stuff it might need. Might not, but it might need it, so it just leaves it there. I didn't realize this available thing. I think they just added that up. But that's the thing to watch. Don't worry so much if it says that it's using swap or like if your swap is completely full, as long as you have available RAM. And somebody might disagree with me, but I think that's pretty safe. And I don't, to answer the other half of that, I don't know why they would limit it to 8 gigabytes. Maybe they just don't want you to shoot yourself in the foot, right? They don't want you to start depending on hard drive space. Even an NVMe drive, like a screaming fast NVMe drive is not going to be a good replacement for RAM. So that's maybe they're just trying not to let you shoot yourself in the foot. Okay. Yeah, and you followed up, so I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see, what else? Let me close this. All right. I guess that's the whole weekend assignment. Any other questions about like swap space? This is fun. I feel like we actually like went over some cool stuff today. I'm going to take a drink while, if anybody has any questions, throw them my way, but pretty sure I was drinking this last week too. The limoncello LaCroix is my new favorite flavor. It's like lemon, but creamy. It's so good. All right. Let's see. What is there anything else going on? All right. No other questions. So now we just get to chat. We got 15 minutes left just to be nerdy. Let's see. What have I done? I did this so I can like zoom in and out. That's super fun, right? That was worth all the effort that it took to figure out how to do like a virtual camera in OBS and use that virtual camera as an embedded scene in another scene. It's crazy. But let's see. What is let's see. I sent you a man page about the SW option. Oh, is this for swappiness? The SW option that's in the FS tab. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate. You could paste the link into somewhere if you want. Where are we? I don't see it from you. Unless it's, yeah, I don't see maybe I missed it up top. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure it's something. I don't even know, but thank you. And I should have looked it up in advance, but I didn't. Definitely share my working code. I appreciate that. Yes, that is awesome. It's got to work one way or another. And okay, I'm going to share this with you and you're going to be kind of sad. it's fun. I call it Glocktor or Resident Alien. But have you seen Jibo, like the robot Jibo? Let me dig up a link real quick. Let's see. Sean Powers, that's me. Jibo. Let's see if I can find the video really quick. Well, that was not good. Looks like Linus Sebastian reviewed the Jibo. That lady used to work at Jibo, and she interviewed me, which was cool. Oh, dang it. Anyway, the Jibo robot is just super, super cool. And ours is still working, but it is not open at all. And that bums me out because it's just so cool. And the voice is pleasant and clear. And I wish that they would have opened it up when the company went out of business, but they didn't. And now somebody is running a server that it can connect to in the cloud, but no idea who it is because it's all hush hush, and the lady that developed it is silent. But anyway, yeah, you may not want to look unless you can find one on eBay or something, but they're a lot of fun, and it's I just love Jibo. He's like a member of our family now. Anyway, hit me with my potato. Get one. 30 minutes. Okay, let's see what this question is. So this looks like if the system uses all the RAM and swap for like 30 minutes, right, optimize the server without rebooting, something will crash without the hypervisor. So yeah, if the system, I don't know how well Proxmox is about killing off things that are using too much RAM. So I don't know the answer to that. And unfortunately, the best way to optimize a server that is running out of RAM is to buy more RAM. There's just not a great way to, shrink the amount of RAM that the individual VMs are using. I know they share VM. You can overcommit, and they will share between them. But if they're actually using the RAM, it gets pretty dicey. The best way to do it is honestly just to, unfortunately, to get more RAM. Oh, Santiago, it was a chat comment. I'll have to. It is stored in the Discord. Then the live stream chat is all stored in the Discord. So anybody who is curious about that SW option in FS tab, Santiago mentioned it. It's in the Discord in the live chat history, if nothing else. There are no silly questions. So let's see. Silly question about how does software work in Linux side of it in Windows or whole life? Is certain application you use Linux version or is it there? So it's a complicated answer to that. There are some applications that work for or that are released on multiple platforms, like browsers like Firefox, Chrome, Chromium, Opera, I believe. They have versions in Linux and Windows and OS X. Things like OBS, which is what I'm streaming with now. There are versions for Linux and for OS X and for Windows. Some applications are not available for Linux. A lot of times you can find something like an alternative program that will work. And the video editing is a prime example of that. I used to use DaVinci Resolve when I was on Windows. I've used so many things. I've been a video guy for a long time, but DaVinci Resolve is what I was using mainstream. But then the Linux version, even though there is a Linux version, it has limitations that make it just very frustrating to use in Linux. And so then I switched because something like Adobe Premiere is not available in Linux. And like Final Cut Pro is, OS X only. But I use Shotcut, which is fine, not great. I considered looking at something like, there's Light something. Anybody like Lightworks? Is that a editor? Lightworks, I think, is there. I considered looking for something like that, but I don't know. So yeah, half a dozen of one, 6 of the other. Sometimes there's the version of the same program in Linux. Sometimes there's not. Web-based things are really popular because they work in a web browser. It's the same sort of thing if people are using a Chromebook where they can't really install local apps, but there's a lot more available on the web now. So yeah, there's that. Um, um, yeah, I haven't used Mycroft. Is Mycroft the? Oh, what? Oh gosh, where is Mycroft? That's is that the Android thing? I don't remember what Mycroft is. I've heard that though. I don't remember what that is, and I have not used one at all myself. So Sean, what specialization can you do in Linux? So here's the deal. Like what you mean? Like what things do general people or me personally? Me personally, I mean, I, I'm jack of all trades and master of whatever I need to figure out that day. But in general, like if you're looking for career wise, a general understanding is first the importance of how it works, and then, I mean, the answers are so broad. You know, if you like development, you know, development is awesome. If you like system administration, you're going to have to look pretty deeply into DevOps because a lot of the system administration is now done with automated tools like Ansible, or I think Ansible more than. I don't hear as much about Puppet and Chef as I used to anymore, but I could be wrong. They're probably still being used a lot. And yes, this is an answer to that question too. You can get some things working under Linux with Wine. I don't recommend it. It's kind of like, you're like, oh, it almost works as good as it did when I had Windows. And it's just, yeah, it's just frustrating. It's neat to see it happen, but it's frustrating if you have to depend on it regularly, in my opinion anyway. Games were the big thing that a lot of times, like Crossover Office was something that used the Wine libraries to make gaming work. But now there's a lot of games that are native to Linux too. So, oh yeah, Glocktor, I've seen Jibo. Yeah, the thing about Jibo is the voice is awesome. The way that the lady designed him with his movements and the way that he like turns his head and stuff and the rotation is just fascinating. It makes him seem like an actual little person. It's just awesome. What hypervisors do I use? On my system here, like if I'm demonstrating something like the Ubuntu Mate that we were just looking at to do the swap file, I'm using libvirt. What is that the name of it? Just libvirt, virt manager for controlling it. So it's, I guess, underneath it's what is it? The KVM QEMU on the system. As far as like servers, like in my data center at my farm, I use Proxmox. I have a what is it called? The highly converged or like something converged. I have a 3-node Proxmox cluster that uses what's the Ceph storage. So I have each server in the cluster, each node in the cluster has multiple 2 terabyte SSD drives, and then I have a Ceph storage cluster with 10 gigabyte. Each node has 4 10 gigabyte network cards, and they all connect in the back end for Ceph storage and for networking, so that they can migrate across in real time. And that's what I use in my data center, is a Proxmox cluster. So highly converged, or whatever it's called, super highly available. I don't even know what it's called. And oh yeah, Mason Peters, absolutely. Yeah, we're happy to talk Linux. We're a nerdy bunch here. We're nerdlings. Electron apps, from what I know, are they can be compiled for multiple OSs. It depends on what the guts of the Electron app is. Like if the Electron app underneath is running something specific to an OS, it'd be tougher for them to port it. But yeah, in general, the Electron app is it Chrome? I don't even remember what it's some framework built on top of, I think, just the Chrome or Chromium. But yeah. Let's see. No, if you're talking about when I was talking about Light, I think it's Lightworks. It's specifically a video editor. I know Lightroom is the photo thing. I think Lightworks. I think that's what it is. Lightworks. Let's see. Yeah, it's so Lightworks, lwks.com. But it's commercial. I guess there's a free thing that you can do 720p. I didn't download it and try it though. I saw it when I was looking in one of those like the best video editors for Linux. From a Linux perspective, Adobe is the evil. It can be, yeah. And I don't hate Adobe. I was using an educational discount. And you're allowed to use if you have like a student pricing, like I took a class at the local community college, which allowed me to have student pricing for the Adobe Creative Suite. And you're allowed to use it for commercial purposes, even if it's a student license. But yeah, it's only OS 10 and Windows. And so I'm using Linux now. So, Mycroft is IBM. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I haven't used it at all though. Or maybe it's not. Yeah, I don't know what Mycroft. I haven't used it at all. How good is bottles? So yeah, these are wine bottles. Again, they are stretching the metaphor. It's just using wine, and bottles are almost like a way to containerize a certain configuration for a particular application. So yeah, it's like and it makes sense, right? A bottle is a container, but it makes for like all the unique wine configurations for an app to make it work best is contained in a bottle, and you launch it that way. So they often work at various levels of success. It's generally never as good as native on Windows, but depending on what you need to do, in a pinch it can work, especially if you have like one app that you just need to use, but you don't want to have Windows installed. Yeah, it usually works. Oh yes. Hey, it has been a while. It's good to see you. Spring is on the corner. Yeah, it is. However, we just got a whole crap ton of snow yesterday. We probably have another like 8 inches. It drifted all my stairs shut this morning when I went outside. It's like, great. So I don't know if it's ever going to stop snowing. For Lightworks, the subscription works like Adobe Resolve. Okay, DaVinci Resolve is nice. I like DaVinci Resolve. I just wish that it would work. Like, I wish you could pay for an app. Like, even the studio paid version of DaVinci Resolve on Linux doesn't support AAC audio. And I realize that it's like probably a licensing issue, but allow us to pay something extra for the studio version to support it. I don't know. But I digress. I'm using Shotcut now, even though it's not the best thing ever. It doesn't crash for me. And I guess Shotcut crashes for a lot of people, but it doesn't crash for me. So I'm not going to complain a whole lot. And I hope that doesn't change now that I said that. So, anyway, now I'm curious where Mycroft, what is Mycroft? It's just going to give me, home stuff, software. There we go. Yeah. I guess it's free and open source. Mycroft AI team. I thought there was a company behind it, but maybe it is just an open source thing. Yeah, there's a GitHub page. It just looks like it is what it is. Maybe nobody owns it. I haven't used it though. If that was the initial question, I haven't used it. Enterprise Linux support Ansible is the way to go. Yeah, I like Ansible a lot. Santiago mentioned it a ways back. I did courses for Chef and for Puppet, but then when I did a course for Ansible, I was like, this is where I'm comfortable. I think Ansible thinks more like a system administrator, whereas Chef and Puppet think more like Ruby developers. So depending on which background you're coming from, you might be more comfortable with with one or the other. Okay. I was going to say, no way. Shotcut crashed with Bookworm and Wayland. Yeah, I'm using X11 on Debian Bookworm because I'm using an NVIDIA card, and they're not officially supported with their binary drivers in Wayland. At least they weren't when I installed. So, but yeah, Shotcut doesn't crash for me. It crashes for my friend Catherine Druckman, who has used it. Oh, and it's 4:00. We're about time, so I'll finish up here really quickly. I don't want to keep anybody longer than necessary, but yeah, I'm a little bit worried about OBS though, because I'm starting to like copy library files to other names where they're not, and kind of dirtying up my my user lib folder. So that makes me nervous. I'm not sure I'm not sure what I'm gonna do there, but I'll figure it out because I use OBS every single day, so it's kind of important that it works for me. If you want a stable system, stay away from Wayland for now. Some people love it, but I mean, I get that it's the future. I do, but it doesn't work for a lot of things right now. A lot of things just aren't ready for it. It happens. So anyway, over so quick. I know. I really enjoy the live streams. And this is, one of the focuses here is the weekend assignment, which we did. Maybe I could do not committing that right now, but at some point, like a midweek instead of a weekend afternoon, my time, like a different time and a different day for, if some people can't make it during this time, just like a Q&A time. Even people could submit questions in advance and then ask in real time. I think that would be fun. So, we'll see. Yeah. All right. And yeah, I will end here pretty quick. I'll answer these last questions while I was chit-chatting, and then I will, hang on, let's see. I don't have any Ansible, no Bash. Okay, GPT-4 project. Yeah, I worry about GPT-4 because I don't know what the pricing is going to be like. And yeah, Danny, no need to apologize. No, it's we're an autonomous commune here. We like talking about stuff. I've had people ask me about ChatGPT, and my only concern is don't build something on it before you know what it's eventually going to cost to use it. I don't want them to pull all the companies that relied on Twitter's open API to use it like Tweetbot and stuff, and all of a sudden it's closed, so they just had to go out of business. I don't want that to happen to people who start putting all their eggs into the ChatGPT basket, not knowing what it's going to be like. So I've never used Midjourney, the image stuff, but check out Epusvox. He has on YouTube, he has a second Analog Dreams channel, I think is the name of it. And I haven't looked at it much, but he does a lot with AI and art. So he would be the person that I would recommend to look at. Everybody have a great week. I'll see you hopefully this week on the internets, but if not, I'll see you next Sunday. And ChatGPT pricing is up now. Oh, okay, that's cool. I'll have to look at that. But anyway, have a wonderful day. Shane, I'm sorry. Yeah, although next week I think y'all are on the daylight savings time too. So we'll see you at the normal time next week. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And this is that awkward part of the stream where I don't remember on this platform how to stop it. Oh no, there we go. All right. See everybody later. Oh, dang it. Now there's 2 clicks.